This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time, and boy, what a time to be live on Pulse 95 Radio in the heart of Sharjah. Thank you very much for connecting, and shout out to everyone who is tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, pulse95radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, or if you're chilling at home, watching us live on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in on the hour, and you know what? I'm so happy to be bringing this next guest on because firstly, he's a legend. That's the first thing. Second thing, he's my brother as well. Thirdly, he's a legend. So Ibrahim is going to be here in the studio. The France international himself, who's played all over Europe, AC Milan, Bolton, Marseille, you name it, and we're just naming a few. He's had a wonderful career and is now in the UAE coaching. So I'm interested to pick his brain on that. We also ask him what's next for him. The World Cup is just round the corner, so who better to ask than the man himself? And he's here live on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.
This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time, and we are vibing here in the studio on Pulse 95 Radio. Thank you very much for connecting with me, and welcome to the show, Ibrahim Ba. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, listen, thank you for taking the time out here. I know you're doing some great things in the UAE, and I'm super happy you're with me on my show. Where do we start, bro? Your career, mashallah, man. Mashallah. Hats off to you. A very wonderful, colorful, illustrious career. First question I'm sure you get asked all the time is AC Milan. How was AC Milan, bro?
Magical.
Magical, huh?
Yeah.
What was it about it for you that made it so magical?
Because when you're a kid, we all of us have a dream. And when the dream comes true, it can only be magical.
Yeah. And you happen to share those experiences with quite a few magical players. Amongst those players who were with you are the man himself, Mr. Maldini, Mr. Paolo Maldini. How is he, man? How is he as a character?
Professional.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
But I have learned through him to understand what is the meaning of working hard and to become successful, and especially at the end having respect against your opponents and also with your teammates. Yeah,
and you've had some very, very interesting teammates as well. Amongst them, your Maldinis, the leaders that were in your team. From all the leaders that were in your team, I know you said you learned from them a lot. Which leaders stood out at AC Milan?
Well, I would say to you, Paolo Maldini, because he's represent Milan. You're born in a city, and then you have the chance to play for the same club in your city, and then to become the captain at the end, which is not something easy. And showing example for any players, any foreigners player who come to Milan, showing that what is the meaning of the club, what does that mean to train every day harder and harder, and also to be a friend, friendly with anybody without not showing like a big ego. So for me, that was something unbelievable.
Talk to me about when you moved from Bordeaux to Milan in 1997. Your first day stepping in to Milan. What was the feeling coming to such a huge club with massive history, and you have your first day there? What was that first day like?
It was a crazy moment because in '97 I ended up '96 actually 1 year before I ended up playing with Bordeaux from my previous club was the Havre.
Yeah.
And I signed for 5 years for Bordeaux.
Okay.
And after 1 year, I ended up going to AC Milan. It was a big moment. And you are 20, 3 years old. So you're not expecting at that time, at that moment, to to just move on to go to a club which is like a big legend club with a lot of players, as you said earlier. Baresi, Van Basten, Gullit, Rijkaard, Donadoni, Desai was there.
Right.
I ended up also seeing George Weah a few years before, playing for AC Milan, Marco Simone. So you're like, whoa, what's going on here? And that was a great thing. But you don't realize at the moment. You don't realize what's going on, because you just like living the dream.
Yeah.
And suddenly you have to wake up because you have in front of you have Mr. Silvio Berlusconi, was the owner.
Yes.
Adriano Galliani.
Oof.
Okay. Then Fabio Capello was back from Real Madrid after he had won the La Liga with Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So who was like crazy people, which is like legend people, and you end up like seeing them face to face, and then starting to think this is going to be the moment of your career as a football player.
Did any of those? I mean, you said all those names, and I just think personalities. Did any of those people surprise you in any way?
All of them.
In what way? Like, for example, I mean, you mentioned Baresi, and he's always been like an iconic defender just by the art of defending. How was he as a person as well as a player?
I'm going to tell you, it's a big surprise. Why? Because Franco was the person which is like the most shy person.
Really?
Yeah.
Off the pitch?
Off the pitch. He's the one that you will never talk.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're like, this is the guy that I see on the pitch like fighting and
like a monster.
Doing things like, you're like, what's going on with this guy? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But out of the pitch, he was the one that was just like the quietest guys ever I haven't seen.
Okay. And then you mentioned George Weah, man. I'm sorry. I turn into a fan. Forget coaching. I turn into a fan when you mention someone like George Weah. Because I think till this day, even though he's great, I sometimes feel people don't realize how great he was. What was it about George that just made him almost, again, a symbol of greatness in the world of football at a time that maybe didn't accept players like George Weah?
Well, for me, George is my mentor.
Okay.
Yes, because when I came to Milan, he's the one who showed me the city. He's the one who, when I was looking for an apartment where to stay, he was moving with his family. Said to me, "Take my apartment in the center." So for me, that was a great moment. And then I had spent so much time with him from the first day to every day, going with him to the training, after the training, staying with him, talking about a lot of things, which is like from our background, our roots, because obviously, coming from Liberia, it was for me also interesting to know what's going on there, because I was born in Senegal, but I grew up in France.
Right.
So it's a lot of things that obviously you need to learn to discover, and then with him those was the great moment.
Hold that thought. We're not going anywhere. We're just going to have the prayer and we'll be right back. I can't wait to hear more, man.
This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time, and we are vibing here in the studio with the legend himself, Ibrahim Ba. He's here and he's in the building. Yes, right there. Yes. Yes. And we are having a great time here. Ibrahim, thank you very much for coming on the show, my man.
Listen, it's my pleasure, and I'm happy to be with you here today.
You know what, Ibrahim, we've had some good conversations on and offline. Very, very interesting. The World Cup is happening. It's happening round the corner. I have to ask you, how do you feel about this World Cup coming up, and who are your favorites to win it?
Wow, difficult to answer, because it's the first time ever that something is going to happen, a big event in the Middle East, and you know that it was not easy to have it.
Yeah.
And yes, so many big countries, and also the way that we are going to see this World Cup is going to be something different, because it's going to be in the winter time.
Yes.
Usually we are not used to.
How much of a difference does that make compared to normal World Cups when the conditions are super hot and in a different country?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see it because, as I said, as you know, winter time, and most of the time, usually at this period of the year, all the big clubs have like all those players, you know, and then to be able to. Sometimes this is the time that you maybe make the differences on the for the season, and that you have to let all these big players go in for the World Cup. It's going to be something interesting, but I think it's going to be fun to see.
Well, let me ask you this. You're a player, you've been a player, but you're a player now, in this modern era. Ibrahim Ba is playing in the middle of the league, and the World Cup is coming up. Now, you've been known to be a professional. What's going through these players' mind right now as they're approaching a World Cup 20 days away, and yet you are in the middle of a season? What goes through your mind?
Not to get injured.
Okay. Even if you're playing in a tough, volatile league.
Not to get injured.
Okay. Does that affect performance?
Yes and no, but at the end, you know, for any players, this is something which is very important to do.
Yes.
Playing the World Cup, it is not every year, it's not every month, it's every 4 years.
Yes.
So maybe it's going to be the last. You never know.
Okay,
so for
point.
me, as a football player, knowing this is maybe one time in my life, I have to be, I have to be ready. But as we said, also everything will be depend on your preparation and how many games also where are you playing, because the clubs, if they are playing the Champions League, mean that you have more games.
Yes.
So you have to be able to deal with all of that, and the clubs also have to be able to dealing with those with the players.
Yes, that's a very, very interesting point. Who are your favorites in this World Cup?
Honestly, I can't say it. I would told you who have won the last World Cup, but every 4 years something new comes in. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the African countries.
Did you see my notes?
No.
Because that's the next question I was going to ask you. The African teams, consider the venue, consider the timing of the season, consider the fact that a lot of the African players right now, let's say, are on the plus now, okay? How are they coming into this World Cup preparation-wise, and who stands out for you?
Well, the preparation will be for everybody the same, actually, because most of the players will be just coming like 6 days before the World Cup with their national team. So they are all of them on the same equal time. So it is just about, as we was talking about it, the way you're going to come in with the desire, how you're going to make it to be ready for the World Cup. And yet we had Senegal, Tunisia, Morocco, Cameroon, Ghana, and I forget. I think it's just like
Ivory Coast. Is it Ivory Coast? No,
5, 6. I forget the one.
Right.
But all of them are something.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it can be this time. We might see something happening with the African national team.
Okay. I'm going to throw some players your way as well, because I always think of certain players when it comes down to competitions, and there's always that player that surprises someone. Maybe not you, because you're a coach now as well, so you see talent very early. But coming into this World Cup, Rafael Leao?
I hope so.
What do you think about him? Now, having obviously close contingents with AC Milan and Portugal, how do you feel about him coming into this tournament?
I think he can be the big surprise of it, because he's young, and then as we can see, he have developed the last 3 years. He became more important, and obviously the last year Milan winning the Italian league, and he had make a big impact with it, and also he's in on this positive vibe, being young without thinking about nothing and just going there and enjoy that, because you're always seeing him smiling, and I think this is can be a positive vibe for him, and then to just go and enjoy the World Cup.
France have always been someone who have been seen as the benchmark. Their players is like a conveyor belt. They produce talent one after the other. With all the injuries that's coming in, could we see someone like, for example, William Saliba an Arsenal player at the moment now who's not necessarily made the national team, but might have an opportunity with all the injuries. Could we see someone like him shining in the World Cup?
Why not? Why not? Because at the end, we just hope that any players who are willing and fit to be able to play the World Cup should be going, But after that, it's always the choice that have to be made by the coach and so on. But from what he's delivering right now with Arsenal, it should be one potential player.
Yeah. Is there anyone that stands out for you that might actually have a huge impact on this World Cup?
I'd like to see Argentina, Lionel Messi, because it might be the last time that we might see him playing the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it, and obviously what we have seen from the Argentina national team, doing something great. But as we were talking about earlier, World Cup is not easy. At any time something can happen, and it's a short times, and you have to get out from the first two and then round and then so on, and after that it's just like one game just like that. So but beside that, honestly, I think all these countries who have been qualified and coming to play this World Cup, it is something interesting to see, and then I'm going to enjoy to watch the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. When you said this, and I never thought about this before you mentioned it now, when you said it's just one game, you know what came into my mind, and both those countries resemble you, is Senegal and France. I know you probably thought that I thought about this before, but it's only when you said that, because I remember watching that game and thinking, France are going to go wild on this game. And then the shock happened.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it was like a reset button got hit in the French camp. How important is it to start off the right way at the World Cup?
Listen, it is not only about the World Cup, it is everything in general.
Yeah.
For any big competition, for any clubs, any national team, for any players, it is very important to start right away and a positive vibe to get into it and to make it a big impact. So, yes, talking about this famous game 2002.
Yes.
I think that, right, I was in Senegal at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Senegal, and I saw the match that day. Nobody have thought that Senegal would beat France and it happened. But because that's evolution about football, and then about the human being, going forward and into sport, it's nothing saying that is going to be that way.
Correct.
Unless that because the others don't fight, but when you fight and you have the desire to win, anything can happen.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. He's very cool right now. If you're watching him on YouTube, he's chilled, he's laid back. So I'm going to put him through the fire round next. And you know what that means. It's that time. It's that fire round. Yes, it is. And it's going to happen straight after this. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll see you right after the break. See you in a bit.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time, and we are vibing here in the studio with the man himself, the legend Ibrahim Ba. He's here. If you're lucky enough to be watching him on YouTube or on Instagram Live, he's enjoying the tunes and he is jamming with us to the beat. So I'm guessing that he likes my choice of music. Right, okay. So coming up next, right, it's that time. It's the fire round. It is happening now, and we are going to be asking Ibrahim a lot of questions on his opinion on sport or life through this out. So you know what, Ibrahim, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to switch up the music just because it's not this kind of chilled vibe. We need something a bit more, with a bit of a kick.
All right.
Okay, so let's put, I got it. Ooh. Okay. You ready, Ibrahim? He's ready. All right. Toughest defender you've ever played against?
Well, I have so many. Can be Cannavaro. I couldn't say Maldini. I can say so many of them. But to be honest, in my era, and at that time, I had so many great defenders, so I can't say it. But
Yeah.
right now, right at this moment,
Yeah.
I would say Fabio Cannavaro.
Fabio Cannavaro. Best football moment.
It is always the first time when you play for your team, and you for the first team, and then and you score. So I had the chance that actually, it's a fun fact that any place that I have been, the first game I always score. Even though
Really?
with the
Your
national
debut?
team. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Ibu was part of the France v Brazil game at the Tournoi di Tono. He witnessed the most incredible free kick ever by Roberto Carlos. Does he remember seeing that goal?
Yes. yes.
How crazy is that goal?
Listen.
And where were you standing? Because we always have the back view.
I was on.
Were you in the wall?
Yeah, I was on the wall.
Oh, okay. So you're in the wall.
If it's possible for other people
Yeah.
to go and to watch it, I
Yeah.
was on the wall, and I think I was the second or the third on the wall.
Okay.
And I saw the ball. Okay, I saw the ball going, and then
Yeah.
I'm turning. I'm like, the ball is out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm like turning, and I see, goal.
Yeah. Because it was
Honestly.
going away,
Yeah,
and then
it
just
was
curved
just
in.
like
Wow.
a long one, like a
Yeah,
curve thing.
yeah.
I was like, the ball is out.
Yeah.
And I turned, it's like one.
Did you think he meant it?
Well, I guess yes, because he did it
He
after.
did it. Yeah.
So
yeah.
at the
But
end,
at
yeah.
that time, did you think he meant that, or you're like, no way?
I thought that he make a mistake.
Yeah.
Honestly, as I said,
Yeah.
in my mind, watching the ball and seeing the curve, and I'm like, no, the ball is going out. It's
Yeah,
going out.
yeah.
And it's like 1-0
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have a role model?
I try to pick based on where I play, my position, and I'm looking for any of those guys who can give me something
Right.
positive that to bring into the game.
Yes.
Because at the end, it is all about learning.
Yes.
And
yes.
the process is just to learn and to develop the skill and to getting better and better.
Yeah.
So obviously you might have something in yourself, but you need to keep going and working on that.
Yeah.
And also work on the weaknesses.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you looked up to? Is there anyone that when you were playing, you thought, I'd love to be like this player?
Well, I had so many players, that I've been watching. I can say to you Romario, I can say to you Stoichkov, I can say to you the real Ronaldo, to so many of them.
Yeah.
But even though I had played against them,
Yes. Yes.
But it was every time trying to pick something from any one of them.
Yeah. Again, you mentioned Ronaldo,
Yeah.
R9. What was he like to play against?
Difficult. I play against him.
Yeah.
I was not marking him, but my teammate was marking him, and I had this moment that we were playing against Inter, because he was playing in Inter at that time, and I was playing in AC Milan.
Yeah.
We had like some games that the guy, when he took that ball, he's like, Leo, in my team, I have like 4 or 5 guys trying to not to take the ball, to
kick him,
to take the, take him down.
Yeah. No chance, huh?
No, stand up. It's like 1, 2, 3. It's like like this drill.
Yeah.
That what we do sometimes.
Yeah.
He was like doing the drill.
That's crazy. If you were to sit around the table with any of your coaches, past, previous, whatever, and you're allowed, let's say, 3 coaches to sit down with, who would you sit down with?
Capello.
Yeah.
Ancelotti.
Yeah.
Sam Allardyce.
Sam Allardyce.
Yes.
Okay, so Capello, Ancelotti, and Sam Allardyce.
Yes.
Okay. People would be surprised about that.
I know.
Why? Why would they be surprised about that?
Because if the first 2 I can understand, because everybody knows who they are and what they have done and everything.
Yes.
But I think Sam Allardyce, also the idea that he had brought, especially for a team, a city which was Bolton Wanderers, and that was a great achievement for him.
Excellent. I really like that. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
What kind of tea?
Mint tea.
Okay. Favorite cheat meal?
Thai food.
Okay. Favorite captain to play under?
Oh my God! I have to repeat again, but I'm gonna say Paolo Maldini.
Yeah. Who would you rather play for, Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp?
Difficult. I like both. I think it should be a mix of both of them.
If there was a mix of both of them, who's the closest one to your type of coach right now? Could be anyone.
Club.
Okay. How do you reset your mind?
Music.
Okay.
And family.
I like that. Is there any football player now that reminds you of you when you were playing?
Difficult to say. I must say that I enjoyed watching Leao, Dembele.
Dembele, yeah.
Yes.
Ousmane Dembele?
Yes.
Okay.
Sadio Mane.
Sadio Mane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like asking this question, but I'm going to ask you this question. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
That was quick. You didn't even hesitate.
No, but I mean, it's about the game.
Yeah.
Love the games.
Yes.
And both are great. Messi is, for me, it's just like, God sent something on this heart. It's like, you can do anything you want on the field, and no matter what, even if you can walk maybe like 80 minutes during the game, and those 20 minutes you're gonna give me some. And this is the reason why I would say to you, Messi. And he score, he passing, even though the other one doing it, but it's a different type of football, and then the way I enjoy the football is Messi.
I have to ask you a question because you've actually played on a windy night in Stoke. Some people think that a lot of the European players maybe could not do that. Could Messi play in the Premier League on a wet night in Stoke?
Yes.
Okay. No hesitation?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
Because if we see what's going on with him, last year he has struggled with Paris Saint-Germain.
Yes.
And everyone was talking bad.
Yeah.
And they're booing, and even the fans.
Yeah.
And you see this year what's happening with him.
Yes.
And for me, yes, it shows he have the character. He can do it anywhere. He can do it anywhere.
Who's the best team in the world right now, in your opinion?
Footballistically,
yes.
I'm going to say to you Manchester City, to be honest.
Okay. What is it about Manchester City that makes them so special?
The way they handle the ball, the way they enjoyed it. You see guys willing to work for each of them, and then making things easy, which is not easy because we think about the football is just only run, but it's like more like a chess game when you see these guys playing, and having a striker with Haaland, so scoring so many goals, that is mean that he's enjoying. Enjoying that.
Okay, you're playing in a tournament now.
Yeah.
You can pick any 4 players. One of them has to be a goalkeeper, and you're playing in that team.
Right.
Which 4 players would you pick?
Mignan,
Okay.
as a goalkeeper.
Okay.
Nesta, Maldini in the back.
Yeah.
Then I will go with Ronaldo, Messi.
Okay. I mean, that's it. You don't have after you said Nesta and Maldini, I forgot everything. That's all you had to say for me.
Strong defense.
Yeah. To win the Champions League or to win the Premier League?
Champions League.
Okay. To win the Champions League or to win the Euros?
Champions League.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. What is it about the Champions League that makes it so special?
Because it's difficult.
Uh-huh.
It's very difficult, and it is not always because you are the biggest team or because you have the most quality players that you can win the Champions League.
Yes.
As we can see, so many great clubs have difficulties to win the Champions League. Chelsea have struggled so many years, and they won with 2 coaches, which is like at the end nobody thought that they couldn't do it.
Correct.
The first one was the Italian coach, was
Di Matteo.
Di Matteo.
Yes.
And the second one was Tuchel, which is was fired months earlier from Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
You know,
and then 6 months later he gets fired from Chelsea.
Okay, then, but to make you understand how it's crazy to be able to. It's not for everybody.
Yeah. Sofiane's asking a cheeky question here, but because he's your friend, I'll ask it. He's asking, do you think Dugarry was better than you in 1998?
Well, that's a decision was made by the coach, but also we wasn't playing in the same situation.
Yes,
so it was more a striker, I was more a winger. But sometimes the coach have to make a choice, and you know that because you were coaching.
Yes.
So sometimes you can't be make it happy everybody.
Correct. Okay. What did I have here? Hold on. Thierry Henry. What do you think of Thierry Henry?
Great player. I have had chance to meet him, to play with him.
Yes.
Also, he's much younger than me.
Yeah.
From our time.
Yes.
And he was playing in Monaco at the time. I was playing in Le Havre, and we
Yes.
ended up changing in different clubs. And I've seen him grow up and become something incredible. And then from Monaco to Juventus, where he used to play as a left back.
Yes.
And then going from Juventus to Arsenal, and everybody knows what happened there.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have, by the way, Sufyan says good answer. Sufyan, you're going to get me in trouble. Do you have a certain type of ritual that you do before a game?
Now, I used to only wear the underwear. It's just like you have to be white
Okay.
during
okay.
for the game.
Okay.
So that's the only things I had. But
Yeah.
at the end, no, not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
A question here. Apart of him, who was, in his opinion, the best player of all time at AC Milan? I think I know the answer of this one.
Listen, Shevchenko, Kaká, Van Basten, Rijkaard,
George
Gullit,
Weah.
George Weah. The history of AC Milan
Yes.
showing that it's a club who have bring so many great players.
Yes.
Be
yes.
able to play with those guys for me was the best things ever.
Yes.
Couldn't happen to
Yes.
any players.
Yes.
And I think that you can't be sitting there and pick this and that. You
Yes.
just have to be grateful to be able to have the chance to play with all of them.
Absolutely. Yusuf is saying, Henry or Mbappe? Whew. It's a good question, Yusuf.
Different things,
Yeah.
more the speed and everything. Henry was powerful. Powerful.
yeah, he was, yeah.
He had this. He was tall. He was strong.
Yes.
Kylian more like maybe might be seeing like more skill, but at the end, both of them are skilled.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is just like decision about era. So I will go still with Titi. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. I'm happy you said that, man. Roberto Baggio.
Yeah.
How do you feel about someone like Roberto Baggio?
I had the chance to play with him for a few moments because I came to Milan in '97.
Yeah.
At that time, he was still in the squad with AC Milan, and for some decision made by the coach and the clubs, he left and went to Bologna.
Yes. Yes.
So I had a great moment. He was a great person and
Yeah.
easy way to talk, and then he always give advice, and then I really enjoyed the person. Yeah.
Best goal you've ever seen live?
Roberto Carlos goal.
Carlos, yeah.
French national team. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
definitely. Yeah.
I'm really worried about these questions, Sufyan, you're asking me, man. Tell us more about your passion for bikes, he's saying.
Nah.
Nah.
He's just fooling around.
Okay.
Nah, nothing on that.
Sufyan, you're banned. That was amazing. Honestly, that fire round was fire. Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break and we get one more chance to ask him more questions to the legend himself, Ibrahim Ba, who's in here in the studio on Pulse 95.
This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time. And man, I am gutted. It's almost full time on the halftime show with the man himself, Ibrahim Ba, who's been exceptional in his answers, especially the fire round. I thought we might be able to, test him a bit, push a few buttons, but you can tell he was cool as a cucumber. He was so chilled. It was unreal. And even Sufyan, shout out to Sufyan, who was trying to trip us up in those questions. Even Sufyan couldn't do it. Ibrahim, thank you very much for the whole show, actually, man. It's been great, as much as it has offline as it has online. I have to ask you, right now, you are in the world of coaching, and that's how you and I met. And I have to say, how has that experience been for you out here in the UAE?
Everything is new, and sometimes you have to take some steps. And when these things happened to me, I was in England, in London, watching some games. I remember still today. I was watching Arsenal against Fulham.
Okay.
So I get text messages by some owners, from friends of mine, which is like the owners of the club, actually.
Yeah.
And they was like, we're looking for a coach for our team in third division in UAE. I'm like, okay, let me find if I can find somebody for you.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, we're looking for you.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, you know that I'm working right now, so it's difficult for me to say yes. Let me think about it.
Yeah.
So it didn't take me so long to make my decision and then to say yes.
Does coaching teach you just as much about yourself as it does about your team?
Right.
And
Yes.
is it a reflection of you sometimes when you see things happening on the pitch? And as a coach, you're no longer there to influence on the pitch. Is it a reflection of you as a person and as a coach?
Yes, but you have to also understand that you have players, and then you're trying to guide them on the right way to understand exactly what is required to be an athlete and to become to grow up and to be successful.
Yeah.
It is not easy, but it's the part of life to teach, because before I had the chance to have people who teach me the game. So today I'm ending doing the same, but with the young players, and then to make them understand exactly where, how, when to do the right pass or get back to your position. And I'm enjoying it. It is not easy. Sometimes I think that you lose voice, you lose your voice and all the things, but you have to deal with it, and you always have to bring a positive vibe. This is what I think it is very important, It can be hard sometimes to make everybody happy, because you might have like 20, 23, 25 players. No, you will not get all of them to be happy. You have to make them work to understand this is the right part of life, and then at the end we should be positive with that.
Absolutely. As a coach, here's a question from Florin, who is tuned in from New York right now. He said, as a coach, how do you handle a player that has an ego that is greater than the football skills?
Team spirit. It is all about that. I can be the most skilled guys in the field, but if I'm not willing to run and to make things happening for my teammates, it won't work. And I rather go for a team than
an individual. Yeah, I like that. Has anyone yet come to your practice session with some bleached hair, maybe?
I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Nah.
Listen, it took me 56 minutes to ask you that question. I waited for my timing and I got in there. I have to say, what an honor it was to host you, man. Honestly, you did great. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you. But brother, remember, in this life, we are human beings.
Yes.
And happiness and being positive, it is all about.
Yes.
So today I'm honored to be with you.
Oh man, I think we had more fun on and offline, both at the same time. That was fantastic.
That's true, because some things that you can't give it to everybody here right now. So we have to deal with it in the background.
Yusuf is saying, what a guy. Sufyan is saying, big up the both of you. What a great show. Much love.
Thank you.
Hala from Saudi saying, what a legend. And yes, you were fantastic, brother. I appreciate you. Keep up the great work. I will be following your team's progress as well.
Inshallah.
And hopefully we will be seeing you very, very soon.
Inshallah. Thank you, brother.
All the best. And remember, guys, if you missed the show, don't worry. You can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 3 to 4 UAE time. Or you can head over to the YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio, and you can see this fantastic gentleman here on our episodes on Pulse 95. Or if you want a podcast, Apple, Spotify, and SoundCloud. That is full-time on the Halftime Show. Thank you very much. Take care, stay blessed, and have a fantastic day. We are out.
If you liked this episode of The Halftime Show, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.